We made it. We're here. We're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome on into Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's. Indescribably good. Thanks for hanging tight there. Got a couple things going on in the background, but we have, as always, Corey just playing hurt this entire week. Technical issues coming at him, and we're rocking and we're rolling here. So thanks for joining us. I can't unmute my guests because they chose to mute it themselves. All right, so he's working on some stuff here. Thanks for hanging tight, everybody. It is Wake Up Warchant. It is proudly presented by Zaxby's. Do not let the technical issues on our end.
Oh, baby, you're on camera.
At all from what the great delicious food we have over at Zaxby's, which is indescribable. There's Corey. There he is, man. I'm so glad to see you. I've never been more worried in my whole life, man. How are you?
I
don't think you can hear me. That's a bit weird. Hopefully you all can hear me. You know, we got to start somewhere, right? We will be taking your questions, I guess, for the time being. Right now, we'll take them off YouTube before I can until I can confirm that Corey.
How about now?
I can hear you, Corey.
You hear me, but I can't hear you. I know, but I can't hear you. So you start taking calls. I'm going to figure this out with my IT lady.
Oh, I can't do calls by myself. Let's see. So you can hear me. That's he unplugged himself. This is going to be what we call in the television business interesting. Although we're not on television, we're just live on YouTube for right now. Check out warchant.com. It is your ultimate Seminole sports source. We have a full wrap up from today's comments with head football coach Mike Norvell, as well as it was receiver day, I guess you could say, to a certain degree, because we had Ron Dugans, receivers coach, as well as Jordan Young. Who else did we speak to? We spoke to Keyshawn Helton as well, which if he's not your favorite, then I don't know, you're doing something wrong, because Keyshawn Helton's quite a young man. We have a full wrap up of the day's comments, and that's over on warchant.com. I'm sure Corey's working on something. In case you folks are wondering what I'm wearing, this is Cookie Puss. It's a Carvel cake. I want it for my birthday, Corey, but there's no Carvels in Tallahassee. So the young lady that I'm dating or talking to or whatever, she bought me this shirt.
Well, are you dating to her or talking to her?
Well, I don't know. It's 2020, man. Everything's fluid, right? Everything's fluid.
That's true. Well, I feel like you're dating her. If she bought you a shirt, that sounds like you're dating her.
I'm just throwing that out there. It was my birthday.
Oh, well, that's true. So it was nice of her. It was very nice.
Hey, Kim Winslow Kaminsky coming off the top rope. Will there be football? When is the schedule coming out? See, you almost got to, I think she's disqualified because the schedule's been out, Kim.
Maybe she means like the start times, because those haven't been announced.
Oh, look at you. Always the people's champion.
Hey, man, I'm taking up for Kim. Look, I don't know. I think it's legitimately like 60-40 that they'll play, but that might be being optimistic. We'll see. They might be getting to a point here now that the people that are listening to this on the podcast tomorrow, we're Charlie Ward days away. So, you're going to get to a point where maybe it might be too hard to pull the plug. I don't know. We're not there yet, but we might get there. I don't know when they're going to announce the starting times. I think they'll probably wait until make sure that they're actually going to be playing. But there could be football. I'm hoping for it. I'm counting on it. But we'll see. Too
big to fail, Corey. Too big to fail.
Yeah. It's awesome that Alabama's doing its part. It's just go ahead and get the whole campus, give it to them right away, and then see what happens, and they could be like the guinea pig.
Was it 500 or something? Or
yeah, the last I saw it was like 560 in a week. So they're doing it up in Tuscaloosa.
Kim, we don't know the kickoff times yet, but I did see Troy University, their week one game, they announced their kickoff time. So I would hope the Florida State's not too far behind. Although I think go ahead.
Is it the first game like next Saturday? Not this Saturday in 4 days, but the Saturday after that is the first college football game, right? Yep. I can't remember who it is, but it's the Saturday before Florida State and Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think it's like South Alabama and Southern Miss. I want to say
I'll be all over that. If those kids can play, then Florida State and Georgia Tech can play.
Yeah. We answered this the other week, Elijah Ludway. We do not know exactly what happened with Kalen Laborn's departure. We have theory, probably a little conflict of personalities, maybe a little disagreement on certain things, the way things have to be done, but we don't know for sure. And it's not worth throwing things against the wall if we're wrong. With that said, let's take our first phone call of the day. Who could it be? There's lighthouses. They don't really function all that much anymore, Corey, but there's metaphorical lighthouses these days. One of them, I think, is our caller. Is this Gator Kirk?
Hey, Aslan. Hey, Corey. What's going on? This is Gator Kirk.
Let's go.
What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Better. Now that we're back rocking and rolling, and you're here too, man. First caller of the day. We got the streak back, man.
I got my technical issues squared. Well, not really. I'm using somebody else's computer, but on this computer that I'm using currently, we got the thing squared away. Learned that you can unmute and mute audio, so figured that one out. That was great, and now I'm ready to go. So we're doing great.
Hey, you learned something new today. You can quit. Look at that.
That's right. I got 1% better.
Hey, that's what I expect every day.
Dang right.
What's up, G?
Service, sacrifice, respect. That's what we're working for.
You said it. You said it. What's on your
right,
mind, man?
I'm going to ask. This isn't really a football question, but it is.
All right, good.
I know Kat mentioned it the other day, but what's this thing about the honey fried chicken? Is it only available when they have recruits come in or things like that? Is there not a restaurant or something that serves it? What's that big claim to fame?
The FIG, Student Dining Hall, G. Certain days of the week they'll have honey fried chicken. They'll serve it. But it gained its mythical status with Marvin Wilson's recruitment because he cited it several times, like sincerely, about why he chose Florida State. Part of it was because the honey fried chicken was so delicious. But they do serve it on occasion to the players in the student or the player dining hall inside of Moore Center. I don't think the general public can go in there. But if you know Booster, I think you might be able to tag along. But no, they do serve it, but just not to us commoners.
The regular student, I think the regular students can go in there too if you pay a fee, but all the athletes get access to it. And yeah, it was Marvin Wilson. I don't think I can't imagine it had a huge impact on him deciding to come from Houston to Tallahassee to play football, but it was something he mentioned, I believe, when he announced. So either on signing day or whenever he committed. That's when he announced that when he announced, he's like, yeah, and that honey fried chicken is something else. Wow. I think he mentioned Odell first, and then I think honey fried chicken probably came after that.
That mystery solved.
Yeah, I know a QB recruit from some time ago that got some offers from schools up north, and he wasn't going to go because he wasn't so sure he was going to be able to find some good sweet tea up there.
Oh, well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Sweet tea is a big deal. Although I've never been a big tea drinker, Aslan.
No, me either. I like Arnold Palmer's though.
Yeah, good call. Good call. You said a mouthful there, buddy.
Yeah, sorry. Trying to get my post workout nutrition in here. All right, G, you got anything else for us?
No, not tonight. I appreciate everything you do. Everyone hit the thumbs up button. Eat Zaxby's, join Warchant, and keep your finger crossed for in 17 days we'll get to see the Noles take the field. As always, good Noles. Y'all have a great night.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Don't you think I should be quarterback, Corey? I mean, just the way my upper body's the kind of control I have, just, platforms, head, angle, launch angle, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know if you have the right temperament for it.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Daryl Cole, dropping $850 in the bucket for your boys.
There we go. That doesn't get a horn?
No, we'll see. That's what Deep Swole was asking. Or not Deep Swole, but one Swole. No, Aslan, where's Ridiculous Horn? Gotta have $10. Gotta have $10 for the horn.
Deep Swole. Like that. Well, let's get back to Daryl's question after the caller. He deserves it.
Sounds like a deal. Sounds like a plan.
Thank you, Daryl.
Yeah, man. Daryl, you're number one in our book, although the phone calls just kind of come over top of everything, so I can't do anything about it. I could kill it off. I will after we do this one. What's going on? Who's this? Where are you calling from? Welcome on into the show.
Aslan, Corey, this is Cleve Dog, FSU 22.
All right.
What's up, man?
Cleve Dog lives. He has a voice.
How y'all guys doing?
Good, man.
Living the dream, Cleve Dog. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Well, I had a great dream last night. I know we're undefeated.
We went undefeated?
Oh, that was the dream. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, hey, they're undefeated right now.
Okay. What was the score of the Clemson game?
Clemson game, 35-14.
No.
Take that, Trevor.
Yeah. I had a dream.
Exactly.
I had a dream the other night. I was watching the Clemson game on, I guess it was on television. I don't know what was happening, but I was watching it and I saw Ira and Corey on TV and I'm like, why am I not there? It was really weird. And then I woke up.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know, college football season's getting close when we're dreaming about it.
Yeah. All right.
Exactly. I can't wait. Well, what brings me to my question is, will you see the uptick in how the coaches are coaching our players? Do you see anything changing in the recruiting aspect of getting better quality or better level players?
Look, I think most all coaches speak a good game. And Norvell does have a good track record, but it was at Memphis. And the kids he's recruiting now think they're better than Memphis. And they are, really. If they're being recruited by Alabama, Florida State, and Georgia, they're better than Memphis kids. So it's going to take more than just him spouting off. Spouting off sounds negative. Him talking about what he did at Memphis. And they have to see it on the field. They have to see the improvement on the field, in my opinion, to really buy in. Because it's been 3 years now of not being a good program. And if you're going to make a 3 to 4 year decision about where you're going to go to school, yeah, you want to get developed. Yeah, you want to have a great relationship with your coaches. And I think all these guys are going to be really good recruiters because of their personalities. But you also want to make sure that you're going to win. And that's the one thing you still have to figure out. They have to still figure out and see. So that's why I think it's so imperative that you play at least a few games this year, 4 or 5 at least. And not play, but win. I think that's where, if they see the results on the field that we think we can see in year one, because the defense should be so improved. If they go from 6-7 to say 8-3, and maybe play a rival close, that would be nice. If they do that, then I think they're going to buy into, not only does this guy say all the right things, but look how much harder that team plays, and look how much better coach they are. And look at how some of those guys developed in just 1 year. Well, what could he do for me in 3 years? But it's got to be, I think a lot of it's just the proof has got to be in the pudding, man, and not just on the wrapper. Is that a saying? The proof has got to be in the pudding and not just on the wrapper? It should be. But that's my thing. I think they're going to be a really good recruiting staff. You got to put some results out first, though.
Well said.
Okay.
Do tune back in with us tomorrow, Tony. Michael Langston, 7 p.m. recruiting chat, so he might have some more insight to share on that as well. Thanks for the call, big guy. Your optimism is much appreciated.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, Cleve Dog.
That's right.
Go no.
That's right. Let's go. Let's go. All right, man. Daryl Cole. Yeah, so back to this. Swolno says, deep pockets, Daryl Cole.
Yeah.
Where's
Cole's the man.
We got to set a floor. 10 American. It's like at Bullwinkle's back in the day. You folks that went to Florida State, Bullwinkle's Friday nights, $10 all you can drink top shelf. Like if you would tip $1 on a drink, it was like, thank you. But I think if you drop 5 or more on a drink or two, they'd hit the symbol and then you'd feel kind of cool. So we got to set a threshold. That said, Daryl, we do appreciate every single
Very
guy.
much.
Your patronage. We admire you. We appreciate you watching us and want to know our opinion on these things. Have you all noticed how most of the players smile so much throughout their interviews, says Daryl. I think there's definitely a culture change. Go Noles.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they do seem more upbeat and positive when you're talking to them. Now, the season hasn't started and the losses haven't mounted, so that helps have a good perspective on football. But more than just the smiles or the way they talk, the ease in which they talk and answer questions, it's what they're saying. You know what I mean? They're saying they're saying the right things. They talk so much about detail and how hard it is and how hard these guys stay on you, and that they want to be hard. They want to be coached hard. So that to me is even more encouraging. That to me shows me the culture change more than smiles. Brady Scott was smiling, talking about Coach Atkins, but it seemed like he was kind of gritting through his teeth because he wasn't saying like, oh, he's a great guy, I love hanging out with him. He's like, no, he was smiling, saying he's really hard, really hard. He hasn't told him good job yet. I think that's the stuff when you hear that. And when you hear about players talking about other players and what they're seeing, and Keyshawn Helton talking today about trying to inspire teammates, that's the stuff that kind of perks your ears up, right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, again, Leonard Warren III, and it wasn't even so much, he wasn't even throwing the previous regime under the bus. I mean, if anything, he was almost criticizing guys that have left the linebacking room. And there really hasn't been a lot of guys that left from 19 to now, so you can maybe figure some of it out. But though that comment just about how happy he is to see the change and the young guys and the way they're approaching and attacking everything, it speaks volumes. And again, it's pudding we're looking at. We haven't tasted it yet. We just see the wrapper. We like the wrapper, right?
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of pudding. I'll be frank with you. So if Daryl Cole donates another $1.50, does he get a horn then, or does it have to be one single donation?
No, it's it's
I feel like it should be the totality. It should be combined.
Absolutely. You know who does get a horn?
Let's see.
James
B is the man.
Horn gang. Throw up your Omegas. Horn gang. Let's do it one more time.
Him and Ray are keeping the lights on for us. We appreciate it, James B, for real.
Appreciate you. Do you think Dugans, he asks, sounded a little less than enthusiastic about Terry's play thus far? You guys rock as always.
He wasn't overflowing with positive sentiment about Tamari and Terry when we talked to him today. But I also think that's part of the deal when you're that talented. Your coaches are always looking for more. Like Terry could go out tomorrow and catch 2 50-yard touchdown passes. He's just immensely talented. Dugans and he's already shown that. Dugans is trying to get him to take a next step. And we all know how talented he is. I think that's but he wants him to take that next step. I think part of that might be just speaking to Terry through us, so he knows that he's not, you don't want to go out there and just, praise and praise and praise a guy that you're still trying to get to reach a certain peak. So I think that might be more than anything, but I'm quite certain that Tamari and Terry will be starting against Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Assuming we're there. I think my man's going to be playing. I think he's going to score a touchdown or 3.
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't ask the Tamari and Terry question that I mentioned on the podcast because, he didn't bite a lot on it. I was like, all right, well, good thing I didn't ask it. But I agree with your point. You got to keep them a little bit humble. You got to keep pushing them because I'm sure, like he said, they've seen the explosion from him. They know how good he is, but it's all about consistency. So why make him, get too big of a head and start wearing masks again,
Sure. Well, yeah, but I also think the scary Terry mask. We want him when he's away from the field to wear a mask.
Right.
I wonder if he wears that as his mask when he's like going to pick up food or something, or if he's in the football facility. I mean, I assume you can wear any mask you want, right?
Yeah.
All right, just throwing that out there.
Look at this guy. Look at this.
Laramie Tunsil would have a. Oh boy,
that's not nice. It's not nice at all. It's quite rude.
Well, look, it is happening, Aslan. You understand it though. It's held on pretty well though for this long. I mean, you're in your mid 40s and you still got all that coming on.
Man.
Hey, so the girl that you're seeing, dating, talking to, we don't need to know names, but does she know that you do this? Like, is there any chance that she's watching this right now? Does she understand your job? Not that she's too dumb to understand what you do. I mean, does she know that you do these YouTube chats and everything?
Yeah, it's funny that you actually say that. So, I bought the Xbox like a few weeks ago. I did it on Facebook, and I messaged a whole bunch of people and was like, hey, can I buy your Xbox or whatever? And the other night, I was posting our show onto the Warchant Facebook, and as I was logging into Facebook, I saw that I had a message from somebody. So I'm like, all right, I'll check that I'll check that after I'm done posting our show to the warchant.com Facebook page. So I'm on the warchant.com Facebook page, and I'm getting ready to post our show. I do. And then instead of like going into my account, I go ahead and hit our inbox on the warchant.com account. And there's a message from a woman about, hey, I'm not getting push notifications sent to my phone. What's up with it? It's actually her mom.
Oh.
Her mom looks or is researching warchant.com because her daughter's talking to a young man who works for them. But yeah, she knows they do these shows. She knows.
Right. So if she's watching, I'd like to say hello. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Warchant family.
Thanks for the shirt. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
She also got me a bottle of wine and a carrot cake. It's quite nice. It was a
birthday.
It was a good birthday. Good little birthday. Go ahead, open the phone lines back up, 850-792-5730. Talking Florida State football. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Zaxby's. It's indescribably good. It really is. I need to pull up some photos of the sensation. You checking your beard out, Corey? Everything good? Looking good?
No, do you think I look tougher if I kind of lean up like this a little bit?
I do. Yeah.
Because when I do that, you see the cheeks. You see kind of how just old I am. But if I do that, that's pretty tough right there.
All right. Hey, a caller, I don't know if you're watching us right now live, but does Corey look tougher right now?
Yeah, it's Matt AMTZ. Mark, how you doing, guys?
Good, Mark.
What's up, Mark? How are you, buddy?
What's up, Corey? What is this? Does Corey look more with the mean mug, with the chin raised? Does he look more intimidating?
Well, listen, I'm just glad his stomach is feeling better and he's back to 100%.
Fair. That's a diplomatic answer. I appreciate that.
You're right. You're right. Are you still fuming over Chubba? Adam, are you still fuming over Chubba?
No, I'm over it. I mean, it's obviously a setback.
It is.
You got to trust the coaches and their decisions, and it's better to he gets hit in practice than taking his first lick at Georgia Tech, I guess.
True. I mean, still, you'd much rather have him. I mean, let's be honest. Not just because you'd want him for that first game, but he would make Blackman better because Blackman knows he can't coast to the starting spot. Well, now he's probably coasting to the starting spot. And Norvell he didn't say it today, but he kind of said it today about he's got the competition is with himself every day. When Aslan asked about the competition in the room, he's like, well, you compete with yourself every day anyway, which was to say, yeah, he's going to be the starter because Travis is hurt, banged up somehow, and Chubba's out for 5 more weeks. Anyway, hey, you're not here to talk about Chubba's collarbone.
Yeah,
No. We've been talking. We've been talking so much about offense and defense the last few days, and it's been awesome analysis. And I think we have a better, understanding where both units stand. But I wanted to ask about special teams because if I'm correct, Norvell's teams at Memphis were always in the top 3 nationally with special teams. And listen, if our offense is going to maybe struggle a bit this year, and our defense is going to be a lot better but not elite, special teams can make a difference of 1 or 2 wins. We return a kick. Maybe we actually catch a punt for a change. I know, Corey, that's a sore spot with you. And so what have you been hearing out of practice? I know you can't really watch, but do you expect to have, for Norvell with the current personnel to have, maybe a top 10 ranked unit?
I mean, they've been so bad. That would be a huge turnaround. A lot of special teams is buy-in. And they're saying all the right things, but how bought in really is the kid that's trying to start at linebacker going to be if he's relegated to be on the punt coverage team? Like, is he really going to care? And I think Norvell by year 2 or 3 will have this thing rolling special teams wise. I hesitate a little bit on the first year because you still got kids that might not have the best mindset or attitudes for it, but they are going to coach it and they're going to coach it hard. And I do trust them to find 11 guys on each unit that care. We don't know how they're doing. I know Papuchas on Saturday said they haven't done a lot of live drill work yet when it comes to live situational special team stuff. They did block a kick, which is good and bad. You were kicking it, so that's not great, but you did block it. I think the fact that literally Aslan.
I lose you, buddy? I feel like I lost you, Corey.
It seemed like Norvell mentioned Aslan left. You back? We good?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Doesn't it seem like Norvell mentioned special teams in his opening, like every practice? Like we worked a little bit on special teams. It was a good special teams day. Like it matters to that guy, and they legitimately spend time on it. And again, we saw it when it was in the spring, but they're not just coaching, hey, man, go get in front of that guy and try to block him so our kick returner can get hit the seam and get through it. They teach them like how many steps to go back to turn around and then block. And it's not, so they do really teach the detail. And that's what they stress really about everything, offense, defense, whatever. But in special teams in particular, they really stress the detail too. And every time you talk to a player about it, that's the first thing they bring up is the attention to detail. So that's a good sign, if nothing else. I don't know how good the kickers are going to be, honestly. And that's a big part of special teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. We got to buy in. It might take some time.
But I did want to add. So last year, Memphis finished second, I think, in one of the rankings. It's hard to rank special teams play as a unit, overall. But I think in the ESPN rankings, they were second, or in the FPI, one of those, they were second in the country in overall special teams play. And number 1 was Penn State, who had just stolen their special teams coordinator the year before. So that tells you that Memphis knows Memphis knew what they were doing, and that Norvell certainly knows what he's doing when it comes to special teams.
Yeah, his track record shows it. Quick shout out to Zaxby's. I got my son to convert from Chick-fil-A. We were up for his golf tournament. We don't have one down here in Naples. We were in Orlando, and he begged me to go back the next day. So
there we go. Nice. Was it a Sunday?
You guys are the best. I love that the shows are now, daily again. And I know that's a lot of hard work, but football is right around the corner. So thank you.
Not hard work.
We're
Not
trying,
hard,
buddy.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
We got.
Hey, where were you that segment? You just taking it off?
Well, there's people commenting on YouTube live as we're doing this. Terrence Montford, have you guys saw the posts or tweets from Kalen Laburn or Kalan Lawborn? So I was trying to corroborate that. It is, he gone. I mean, what is there to say? What is there to say? And then also, apparently, according to Brandon's always coming on here trying to break news. You're trying to get a job, Brandon? Stick to fishing, buddy. Slay the snook. Hands off.
Oh, man, we appreciate news like that. Anthony Grant to UMass.
Yeah, look at that. Walt Bell's like, hey, man, be a Minuteman and not play football this year. Sit it out because they're not playing football. Anywho, back to the phone lines. Welcome on into Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's Indescribably Good. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
Daryl from Thomasville, North Carolina. How you doing, guys?
Good, Daryl. How are you, man?
What's up, buddy?
We're doing all right. I got a couple questions for you. First one is, the last 2 or 3 years we've been struggling with our tackling. Seems like we get a lot of penalties with illegal tackling, like tackling with our helmets and things like that. Do you know if Norvell and the coaching staff is teaching better techniques with the tackling this year?
I mean, I'm going to guess absolutely. That's just a guess. We don't get to watch them. I'm going to just go take a stab in the dark and say yes. They are teaching almost everything better than it was taught a season ago. Maybe everything that was taught a season ago. And yeah, that's I don't know necessarily about the targeting, because that there was one in the, what game was that? Was that the Clemson? It was one of the playoff games where maybe the Ohio State kid got called for targeting. And it was just like, what could he have done? Like, sometimes it just happens, and I'm not going to blame coaching for all of that, or most of that, man. That's a player decision in the moment. They're taught the right way to tackle because you don't want kids to get hurt, and you don't want to, hurt yourself. I'm more worried about the coaching, just the way they tackle, just either catching them and falling backwards or missing them completely. And I hopefully. Go ahead.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant as far as, a lot of times we don't wrap up.
Yeah. Did we lose them? Yeah, I think that it's a hard thing to do. They didn't get a spring. You only got so many contact practices, and you don't want to go too hard and tackle kids and like maybe break their collarbone. So you want to take it easy a little bit with the tackling. But again, I'm just going to trust. I think it'll be a work in progress, obviously, the first couple of weeks, because that's just how football is now. There's just not a lot of tackling by anybody. Alabama, Georgia, the Patriots. There's not a lot of tackling in the preseason. So you just hope they're taught better in the drill work that they do, and then it shows up on Saturday. But I don't think we'll know, Daryl, until we actually see them. But I'm going to trust that there'll be a better tackling team.
Right. The second question is, I know after the scrimmage, I'm not sure who asked the question, but it was asking about the I guess somebody about the offensive line, and he mentioned something about if players didn't want to actually buy into what they was teaching, or didn't really want to buy into what was going on, and they didn't have to be here or something like that. Was he referring to any particular players or on the offensive line, or just anybody in general?
What do you think, Aslan?
I don't recollect that. Do you remember what? I mean, obviously it must have been a coach, because we only spoke to coaches Saturday after the scrimmage. I don't recall.
It was Coach Nordell. When I was talking to him after the scrimmage.
He might have had a couple of players in mind. I'm sure he did. I'm sure it wasn't a collective, like all 11 or 12 or how many ever got in there didn't give the effort he wanted. But again, I think that's more of just you're trying to have a message to your whole offensive line. Number one, that they got to be accountable for themselves, and Dante Lucas can tell Brady Scott, man, you're better than that. Make a block. But also, not that maybe Brady Scott was awesome in the scrimmage. Who knows? But I think that's more of just for letting everybody know that, including the players, if they happen to watch Warchant and watch these post scrimmage videos, The standard of what's been done around here isn't the standard anymore. And you can't just get dominated because you're going up against a defensive line. And if you're going to have that attitude where one play goes bad, so 2 plays go bad, now I can't block this guy, he's too hard for me, then get out. They'll find somebody else. And I'll tell you this, not that you asked about him, but man, Aslan, isn't he bringing up Robert Scott a lot? And the Schrader kid, right?
Yeah.
So the two of the freshmen they recruited, Zane Herring has shoulder surgery, so he's done. But the 2 of the freshmen they recruited, I think Norvell said today that he expects both of them to be in the top 8 rotation they might not start, but they plan on having 8 guys that they'll rotate in. And it sounds like those 2 freshmen have impressed them enough that they made the final 8. It's like American Idol. They made the final 8, but I don't know if they're going to start. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing that they've adjusted to college life and college football enough that they're already in the running for a starting spot. It's not great that 2 freshmen can already be that high on your depth chart, but we all know the offensive line is the offensive line. So again, hopefully it's better.
All right, thank you guys. Y'all have a great day, and we enjoy your show. And go Noles.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Daryl. Thank you, buddy.
That's right. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate you, man.
Aslan, you're gonna have to start talking to somebody.
Well, Ray Pereira wants to speak to you, Corey.
Okay.
Have you heard anything about the coverage skills of our linebackers? They'll face a good deal of spread teams.
They got, whether it's a linebacker, what do we call would-be? What is that position? I know there's the Fox, there's the stud. Again, with these position names, guys.
Bandit.
But a Fox and the stud. I mean, come on, man. That sounds like a male strip club. Oh, let's go to the Fox and the stud. It's a bachelorette party. I'm not real quite sure what we're doing with these names, but I know Janarius is playing the Fox. I can't remember who knows the name of Jaden Large-Woodby's position, but I think guys like him and Hamsa will be used in that way a lot. I don't foresee like DJ Lundy or Steven Dix right away being asked to prove their coverage skills at the D1 level as true freshmen. I think Amari Gaynor is a guy that they like because he's rangy. Amari Gaynor is the one linebacker I think that he's mentioned in pass coverage skills because how rangy and how fast he is, that he can cut down angles and he can make it hard for quarterbacks to see a target. But otherwise, haven't really heard a ton about the linebackers. I do trust that Fuller will not. I mean, you just can't have Leonard Warner III on a slot receiver. That stuff can't happen. And I think they'll scheme it up enough that whether they go into a nickel with, he even talked. That's the beauty about Fuller. Sorry, Ray, I know you're asking about linebackers, but I think it was on Saturday, right, Aslan, when he was asked about his nickel coverage, and he's like, "Look, sometimes we'll have a nickel with a safety if it's a team that throws short passes or runs a lot. Sometimes our nickel will be the cornerback, depending on what the personnel is doing." And it's just stuff like that. I know that's not anything earth-shattering, but how much he gets so granular in his detail. It talks to us like football players almost, explaining to. I just love listening to that guy talk and explain his defense. So they will have a plan in place where they're not getting 245-pound linebackers, hopefully matched up with scat backs or slot receivers. But who that will be, we'll see.
Also slows down spread teams, Corey?
Pass rush?
Pass rush and good cornerbacks. So linebackers, I don't even know how I have you on scholarship. You guys are dead weight. I'm at the point of a linebacker is in 2020.
Well, I think that's why Ray, sent his question to me.
Well,
because
Ray also clarification from you, Horn Gang, Ray Pereira.
Ray's our man. Ray and James B.
Dueling, money boosters. Ray comes back from Hurricane Houston. I don't know. Is he in Houston? Are you in H-Town, Ray? I didn't know that. Anywho, Corey, you want to walk back your offensive score prediction against Georgia Tech. I agree with that on 27-17. Awesome job, guys.
I don't quite remember what my score was. I had them in the 30s, I think.
High 30s.
But I think I might have had 38. But I'm thinking you're going to have a punt block for a touchdown. It's going to be like Clifton Abraham or Joe Wessel out there just blocking punts. And maybe a pick six. Maybe Asante Samuel scores on a pick six or a fumble return or something. But no, I'm not walking back anything. I'm not afraid. They're going to put up 38 in the first game and then wait a week to play again. Ray, but thank you very much for the tip. But we got to do something for Ray if he's ever in Tallahassee, like legitimately. Like he can stay at my house. Hey, I'm up here half the time anyway, Ray. I'll give you the address. Anytime you're in town, you can crash. There's a couch, there's a big TV, and there's one bed.
All right, so are you sticking with it in 30s? You're in the 30s.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I think I said 38-13 or 35-13. That's what I'll go with. But that's pretty dumb. It's crazy that I would think that after watching this program for the last 3 years.
That's the thing. I just wonder. My whole thing, like we're talking about special teams. I just think like what happens when Georgia Tech returns a punt for 27 yards? You know, people are like, "Whoa!" I thought you guys talking about how good the special teams were. Georgia
They
Tech,
ain't gonna. You don't have to worry about it because they ain't gonna.
okay,
The Aussie's gonna punt it to the moon, and if they catch it at all, it's gonna be in the air for 9 seconds, so they're not gonna be able to return it.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. By the way, we buried the lead on the show yesterday. We didn't even talk about the new top 25 that dropped.
Yeah, with Ohio State in it.
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
I don't know. What
They're
do you
not
think?
even eligible. Yeah, where was Florida State? Were they in the top 10?
Just outside, I think.
Like in the 30s?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. No, I didn't even look at it. I saw Clemson was 1, which wasn't a stunner.
No, Florida State's 6. There's 6 next to them. There's 6.
I can't imagine they're 6 in the country. Wow, it's like the 90s again.
6. Yeah, let me.
Well, they would never be ranked that low in the 90s to start a season.
See, right there. Look.
Oh yeah, look at that.
State 6.
Okay, well, man, they're expecting a lot out of Northwestern and UAB then.
Oh, six receiving. Oh, other receiving votes.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Look at Arizona State with 66 votes.
Oh, yeah, this.
All right, so they're in the top 35, I guess. But look, okay, Iowa isn't playing. Utah's not playing.
Iowa State's not playing.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Big
12.
12.
They're Big 12. I'm sorry.
Minnesota's not playing.
Correct.
That's 3. Who knows when North Carolina, USC, and Michigan are not playing. That's 5.
Right.
Wisconsin is 6. Notre Dame, see, Oregon is 7.
Yeah.
Penn State is 8.
Yeah.
And then Ohio, so 9 of the top 25 aren't playing for sure. So yeah, if you take those 9 out, Florida State's right on the cusp. So all right,
let's go.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. It's going to be a big time year.
It's not about how you start; it's how you finish.
That's right. And if half the teams don't even finish at all, your chances of getting to the playoff are that much better.
Well, that's right. That is right. Let's keep with the linebacker. Swollen. That's awesome. The way it shows on the screen. It looks like it's arm, Corey. You know? Who's the fastest of the linebackers?
I am. I'm the fastest of the linebackers. Look at me. That's awesome. That should be my avatar, man. Instead of me and Brady, it's got to be this. I would say who plays the fastest? I would say
Amari,
Emmett.
Right?
I would say Emmett, Amari, and DeKalin are in the conversation.
Okay.
I would say the one who's played the fastest that I've seen is probably Emmett. But Amari, I think Amari is just untapped potential, man. I think that guy, if he can run somewhere in the neighborhood of 4.6 with that size, he could be a freak show. So let's hope. But I would say that I've seen on the field, to me, when they're healthy, Emmett Rice, to me, plays the fastest.
I agree with that. Somebody was asking about something, which is what we do on the show. People ask us questions and we answer them. I just lost it on my screen. I don't know where it went. People making their score predictions. We got a Miami fan in the house. Miami fan come troll on Florida State things. They humor me for some reason.
Hey, the views are the views, baby.
Yeah, this guy. Where is he at?
Click that like button.
My wife is an FSU alum, so my house is split.
All right. Well, that's not a troll necessarily.
Well, you know, he's talking about 4 in a row and all that kind of nonsense.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a troll. And you might. Golly, Charles Kelly. It should be 3 in a row. It should be 2 in a row. Like they were up 27-7 2 years ago, and had the ball. And then just like, here you go. Here's the ball at our 16. Here's the ball at the 17. Oh, you scored 2 touchdowns by throwing it to the 6'8" kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Brandon, who breaks news and asks good questions on the show here, trying to position himself for a job at Warchant.
Hey, keep going, Brandon.
I don't know. I don't know if Brandon said it last week on this platform or if somebody tweeted, but apparently people are saying that I can't corroborate it, but people are saying that Hamza was like on crutches at one of the practices recently. We haven't heard about him specifically, I don't think, performing. that's probably something worth asking the next time we speak to Coach, which should be tomorrow, as you pointed out in your tweet. We've been speaking to Coach 16 times. That'll be the 17th.
Yeah, that'll be the Charlie Ward time that we speak to him. He did mention him. He did mention Hampsa at some point today or in the last couple of days that seemed like a positive update about Hampsa without actually going into detail. But I can't remember. I just transcribed.
There we go. That's right. Sorry, that's my fault. I need to remember these things. Anywho, to the calls we go. Welcome on into the show. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
It's Jeremy from South Florida.
There he is.
What's up, Jeremy?
How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. Best day for the offense yet today, man. Got to feel good about that, right?
Could be Coach Speak, so we never know. But, Corey, I want to congratulate you on your Willis Reed moment yesterday.
Thank you, man. It felt good. Actually, it didn't feel good. It was terrible. But, it's something that I can, maybe in 5 or 6 years, I can tell my son about and kind of point to him. If he has a problem in his own life, I can be like, look, remember August 24th of 2020 and what I did. So I appreciate that, Jeremy. I appreciate that sentiment.
It was Mamba Day. It was Mamba Day yesterday. It was Kobe Day yesterday. So I think you kind of showed that fortitude.
That Kobe spirit. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Aslan.
2 things real quick, not a question. One, if Norvell turns out to be the guy we think he's capable of, I think that Leonard Warren moment from yesterday is really going to be one that resonates with people. I mean, I couldn't remember a moment like that from a while from a football player at Florida State.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what was cool about it too? When we asked Norvell about it, I shouldn't say we. When the media asked Norvell about it today, because Warner said that he thought about the transfer portal, and then he gave it some thought, and Norvell told him, give me a couple months, see what you like, see what you think, and that Norvell was open about how when he met with some guys that they said they are going to go in the transfer portal, and he's like, okay, they do what they do. But that Leonard embraced the challenge and didn't run away from it, which I thought was telling of what he thinks about Leonard. But more telling, obviously, like you just said, is what Leonard thinks about Norvell. And that's a guy, he was recruited by Jimbo Fisher. Like, he's been through a lot. And for him to be seemingly so bought in as a 4th or 5th year senior who hasn't played a ton in his career, that says a lot, right? What he thinks of this new staff. Because who has better perspective than a guy like that?
Absolutely.
I mean, he could have just been nice and humble, but when he said, I love this staff so much I could cry.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's not player speak. That's legitimate how he feels about that staff. And for a guy that's been coached by a national champion head coach and then coached by one who has not won a national championship and lost a lot of games in there, I think that says a lot about what he did, what this dude does, man. I think that at least hearing from Leonard Warner, a guy that could be completely cynical and he could have gone somewhere else. For him to be bought in, I think says a lot.
Oh, thank you. Lastly,
thank you,
when
bro.
was the last time a Florida State player had an injury and ended up playing right away and had a great moment? And Winky was a great one. I think after that, we would say Dalvin Cook, 2015 Miami.
Ooh,
that is a really good one. That hamstring, because I thought he tore it. The way he limped off the field against Wake Forest, that was the same day he had like a 97-yard run on the first play from scrimmage, and then hurt his hamstring like 2 plays later, two possessions later, or whatever. Didn't play again. And when you hurt a hamstring, you're not supposed to be able to bounce back and run for 200 yards the next week. But that's what that's a good one. And his hamstring wasn't right against Clemson either. And he ran for like 160 or 170 against Clemson that day too. That's a good one.
Guys, thanks for all you do. Everyone knows the drill. Rate and review 5 stars. Support Zach's piece. Like on YouTube. Take care, fellas.
That is right. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a good call. That was the 2015.
That was a good one.
That was the Baywatch game, right? Like they were running on sand the entire time. I was like, what's going on out there on the field?
Especially him. He was so fast. It was like sand kicking up. Yeah, like David Hasselhoff. Like it was sand flying everywhere.
Ray confirms he is in H-Town. Obviously, I thought that's like a Category 1 or whatever, right? You guys will be fine.
No, I think it has a chance to be a bad one.
Oh, really?
That's what Stephanie was saying, that it has a chance to be a 3 or a 4, I think.
Look at this. Look at all this nonsense. We got Gator fans in here now talking.
Oh, no.
Gator fans. Hey, look at Miami.
Miami's the worst team in Miami. That's a funny one.
Yeah, look at Miami.
DJ.
Hey, guy. You are, I'm sure that sentiment is shared by many of your Miami brethren, but we don't need your charity around here. Beat it, DJ. I'm just kidding. Whatever, you can hang around. It doesn't bother me all that much. Welcome on into the show. Who's this? Where are you calling from? It's Wake Up Warchant.
Jay from Daytona Beach.
Oh, there he is. God, I've been worried sick about you, Jay. How are you, man?
How's it going, Aslan? Thanks for hanging in there today, Corey.
Yeah, man. Oh, Corey I think Corey froze up on us, but he'll probably bounce back any minute now. We've been having some tech issues here, but we've been able to persevere despite the adversity because we're just getting 1% better, man. We're trusting the process. What's up, Jay? What's on your mind, man?
Hey, I wanted to mention this last week. I didn't get a chance to call in, but I found it I think it was last Friday. Coach Norvell said that Chuba has natural football instincts, and that stuck out to me because a lot of times Corey references that sometimes we look like we're not even playing the sport of football in some positions. So it's just good to have somebody who's like a natural at football. So
I was rooting for him, man. It just seemed like the right kind of fit for what you needed. And ultimately, we keep talking about how good this coaching staff appears to be and how much these players appreciate what they're trying to do. But the simplest, easiest point A to point B improvement for this team would be to have an upgrade at the quarterback position. And I thought Chuba, I don't know if necessarily he's got better tools than James right now, this moment, but it just felt like, with the way this offensive line is, if you can't run on first down and you can't do anything when it's second and long, you figure a guy like Chuba, maybe doesn't get you in the second and long all that much. And if he does, he might be able to make something out of nothing. The staff hasn't shown the propensity to play guys that are dual threat or, played backyard football, but he had that sort of knack to him, and it felt like that would have been able to help them out. So, but, he'll be back. He'll be back. We feel good about it. Jacksonville State game, unless James beats Miami, and then who cares about Chuba Purdy at that point?
Hey, well, speaking of good coaches and good quarterbacks, Iowa State is number in the top 25, and they went 7-6 last year. So obviously they have a good coach and a good quarterback. So
I wanted him.
We get him back.
I wanted him. I wanted Matt Campbell. But we didn't.
Well, we have the quarterback's brother who's supposed to be better.
Yeah, so we can turn it around. We can turn it around. Yeah, it's no reason to think that we can't, but it just still, we've been hurt. We've put our heart out there. We've been trampled on. Do you believe, Jay? Like, is your heart open to 8-3, or are you, 6-5, 7-4?
Man, I trust Norvell, man.
Okay.
I trust Norvell. And now that Corey's back, I actually want to ask a question kind of about the coaching.
Okay.
It seems like every time you guys interviewed the previous defensive coordinator, he talked about simplifying the defense or dumbing down the defense, like after a loss and what it can do to improve. As a staff, this staff doesn't be interested in dumbing down anything. So do you think players or teams underachieve or maximize their potential depending on the coaching philosophy?
Yeah, I think that happens probably in every sport, on every team. I think a coaching philosophy can have a negative or a huge positive impact. Specifically about last year, they just, man, Jay, they didn't have any idea what they were doing. Like, what were they doing against Boise and Louisiana Monroe? And then they realized, okay, we can't run a 3-4 as much as we do. This is ridiculous. We're eliminating our best players on the front and making them, basically just catch blocks so our mediocre linebackers cannot make plays. And so I think that's when Harlan would talk about dumbing it down, is like simplifying it so you just have one job to do, one defense to learn. But man, I like what these guys do. Coach them what they need. Tell them what they need to know. I think that the way you listen to Fuller talk, do you listen to those videos with Adam Fuller? Do you watch those?
Absolutely.
I appreciate the way the guy coaches. I appreciate the way he talks, and I'm sure that's the way he communicates with these players, because what they do, man, is and we've heard this time and time again throughout the preseason, they explain the why. Why are we doing this? Like, why do you have me in this space? Why do you have me rushing on this play? Why do you not have me rushing on this play?
Hey, Corey.
Yeah.
Hey, Corey, the reason I brought that up because Cyrus Fagan was like, hey, we have like packages and sets, and, it's like nothing's being dumbed down,
Yeah, that's number one, that's encouraging, but it's also refreshing. Yeah, don't dumb it down. And you're right. Cyrus Fagan did say that. He's like, yeah, we got packages now. Oh, well, all right, man. It's college football. But I think the way they coach these guys and communicate with them, they're going to be multiple. They're going to have a lot of different looks. Fuller was talking about how, you know what your strengths are, but you can't have the same personnel for every play, because then you're going to be easy to scout. So sometimes you got to do something that you're not great at, because you can't be so easily scoutable. Just the way he talks about it, the way he explains to the players the why of why they're doing something, not just what to do, but why. I think that changes the way a kid sees the game. That changes the way a kid plays, because he knows why he's doing it. He knows what the point of it is. And that could be literally for any sport you play. Doing this drill. Well, here's why. And, I know that probably didn't answer your question, but I do think that they certainly are not dumbing it down at all. And, I don't know, obviously we could relitigate Harlan Barnett's tenure here, but it was a disaster. I don't know how much he was helped, though, by his head coach. Well, I do know, not a lot. But yeah, Harlan's was a disaster. I like that you've heard that time and again about the why, and that they do have extra packages, and that the detail, everything they talk about with these guys.
All right, Jay. Anything else?
Okay. No, man. Hey, it just seemed like the whole coaching staff as a whole, they're not dumbing down anything, and they're not simplifying anything.
No.
Nope. And that literally that goes to everything. That goes to a blocking on a kick return, or trying to beat when you're on your punt coverage team, trying to beat a blocker. Everything they go into detail about where your second step is supposed to be. Really get in the weeds in it, but I think it's exactly what this program needs, because there wasn't much, as you know, Jay. I'm not saying anything crazy. There wasn't a whole lot of attention to detail the last couple of years.
Right. All right, guys. Thanks for the call. We're almost
Thanks,
there.
Jay.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Jay. Be good, man. That's right.
I like that he thanked us for the call.
I know.
That was nice. Thanks for the call. Hey, man, thanks for picking up.
There we go. Look at that, DJ. Big time.
Man, DJ, we got a big time fan.
Hey, let's should probably play. Let's give him. I guess. I mean, it's over $10, so let's give it to him.
Don't be like that. We appreciate it. Don't do that. He seems like a good guy, and he's married to an FSU alum. That counts for something.
And apparently his mother-in-law is also Florida State alum.
Okay, so he's got some garnet and gold somewhere in the blood. He's not too upset when they win, I bet. There you go, William.
We like William McMillan, Florida State. Keep it in the family. Appreciate you, man. How about Redbeard? Redbeard coming in strong. Appreciate you. Let's play his theme song. That's right. Corey Aslan, do you think Dillingham and Norvell are in over their heads, at least on offense, with a turnaround at this level, or this all on the players and everything left over from the Taggart era?
Well, again, we don't know what this is. We're going off one scrimmage that nobody saw, which obviously the offense didn't perform well. But then today, Norvell comes out and says the offense had its best day yet. So we don't know if in team drills they might have hit 3 or 4 touchdowns. So they might already be turning this thing around. I certainly don't think you can listen to us talk. I don't think they're in over their heads. I think if you got to start somewhere. The offensive line has been a disaster. That's got to be something that has to be fixed. But I don't think their scheme at all would be in over their heads. I think they're going to find a way to move the ball and get the ball to their playmakers. That's what I think they'll do. I think they care too much to not do it.
I just a little bit just hope there's games that they're played and they can show it so they can recruit, because that's probably the big sort of remaining, well, not big remaining mystery, because we still haven't seen them actually coach an actual game. But I just do hope they're able to connect with the elite recruits in this part of the country and pull them away from places like Alabama and Georgia. It's encouraging to hear them be able to identify guys like Robert Scott. I mean, I would say Thomas Schrader, but the previous staff is who really was able to identify him first. Stephen Dix Jr. as well. That was Taggart and Raymond Woody kind of were on him first. I mean, he did keep those guys in the toe, though, so that's impressive.
And he kept Tamarian Terry and Marvin Wilson.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good recruiting job.
Leonard Warner III.
Yeah, L-Dub 3, L-Dub Trace.
I don't sense them being in over their heads. There's Chris Thompson's been there, has done that. Mike Norvell's been at Arizona State calling plays, coordinating the offense, been at Memphis, which I don't know. I mean, Memphis could probably beat, lower tier Power 5. I mean, they've beat Ole Miss. I mean, they could
Memphis would have certainly beaten Florida State last year.
Yeah, they could beat Kansas. They could beat Kansas State. They could beat, they could probably beat Oregon State. So, I wouldn't think they're in over their heads. I just hope that they can put enough together this year to show to the younger guys that they're going to have to come here and patch some holes.
Yeah, I think, and one thing you got to remember is they are hamstrung a little bit with an offensive line that's been talked about ad nauseum, and then not great quarterback play. But they got quarterbacks coming. They got 2 on campus that I think they like. One that they really like that they threw to the Wolves in that scrimmage. But then they got the kid coming next year. I think the quarterback play is going to ramp up, and the offensive line play can't. Like, it can't not ramp up because it was as bad as it could possibly be last year. But for 2020, that will be something that's an obstacle, which I don't know that you can judge the future of the program and what they can do at this level offensively based on what they can do with an okay offensive line and James Blackman as a quarterback. Unless Blackman's gotten a lot better, which he very well could. And then we'll think these guys hung the move.
TFJ Boxing, appreciate you. He's been trying to go on a Gator Kirk streak of himself. He was like the first post on 4 or 5 videos that we post on our YouTube page consecutively, but I think his streak snapped. But your effort did not go unnoticed. By the way, if you could hit the thumbs up button if you're watching us still on YouTube, we surely would appreciate that. Did the guy who drove from Denver to Florida make it back safely, and did he share any adventures about his ride home? We never did hear back from that young man.
We did not. He needs to call us and let us know. Hopefully he's still en route. Man, it's a long drive. Maybe it's taken him a couple weeks to get from Denver to Florida. Yeah, that's I basically done it. I drove to Omaha twice. I've driven to Syracuse. You remember driving back from Omaha last year, like 13 months ago, 14 months ago. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not a great time. So hopefully he didn't just drive into a ditch because he was over it. I tell you what, though, this is the best time in our lives ever to take long distance drives. You got whole podcasts you can listen to, like all these true crime series. You can knock out a whole season in like 8 hours. That passes the time. You got Wake Up Warchant, presented proudly by Zaxby's. You got other stuff we do. You got you got happy hours on Warchant. It's the best time to be taking long road trips, I think. And who wants to fly? You
can plug Seminole Headlines. It's fine.
Yeah, you got Seminole Headlines. That's a great show. Always has been. The granddaddy of all Seminole podcasts. It beats flying. Beats flying.
All right, so if Seminole Headlines is the granddaddy of them all, if they're Rose Bowl, what are we? Are we like the Fiesta Bowl? We're kind of, we're not established as long as others, but we're still up there.
We're dynamic and we're popular. I would say the Sugar Bowl probably, and every now and again we're going to have a national championship game, but we're in the rotation of championship sites. I mean, we're about as good as it gets, considering we do it every day.
Right.
Like, you're not going to hear as much content, as much talk about Florida State football as you do on this podcast, and about Aslan's dating life.
Try. Again, it's Cookie Puss, everybody. Delicious cake. I've never had it. I want it one of these days, hopefully. She fell short, but, A for effort. 21, any chance Chuba uses the redshirt year if he doesn't start or get reasonable minutes?
Doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, plot twist, 21. Everybody gets a red shirt this year. This 2020 season is not going to count against anybody's eligibility. Now, how are they going to work the scholarship numbers? It remains to be seen, but
you get 2 more years of Tamarian Terry.
Yeah.
He's coming back in 2021 too, and he's still just going to be a junior.
James Blackman will be, pulling Social Security in 2023 and
still be the starting quarterback. I thought the quarterback competitions with James Blackman would be a thing of my past, but apparently we got 2 more years after this one.
Redbeard comes back. Thanks for the answer, guys. I'm more worried about Dillingham, his age and seemingly lack of experience, and I'm not sure how involved he actually is. Will be in the play calling. I love his attitude and energy.
I think he's more. That's fair. That is fair. But I don't think this is a Jimbo deal where somebody's an OC in name only. And what I mean by that, I don't know how involved. We'll have to ask Norvell about play calling. But he trusts this guy a lot. This isn't, hey, there's Randy Sanders. but I'm still going to be yelling at the quarterbacks all the time. We've seen the practices where Norvell's not on the offense side of the field all the time. He trusts the OC because he knows the OC knows exactly what he wants, and he was good enough to be hired at Auburn. So he does have the bona fides to an extent to be hired by an SEC school and coach a true freshman quarterback. Last year, I think they won 10 games. They beat Alabama. Now that was the defense. I don't think the Knicks had a great game in that game, but still, he won some games. They beat Alabama. So no, I think I get it because he is young. But this isn't a guy that is just a puppet. I think this is a guy that Norvell respects immensely. You think about it. This is one of the most important hires Norvell might ever make in his life, and he's at Florida State. He has the means to hire some of the best coaches in the country, and he went right back at Dillingham because that's how much he trusts the guy.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that the guy that's actually at Memphis now, Silverfield, I don't know if I think that was his first option for offensive line coach. I think I erroneously said that he's in the same boat as Willie because, Willie wanted to bring Levitt and Cristobal with him when he came to Tallahassee, and they both ditched him. And it felt like Lanning, whoever's the DC or the linebackers coach at Georgia, was maybe his top option defensive coordinator. Couldn't get him. And then he did seem to want to bring Ryan Silverfield, but that would have been for offensive line. I think I said OC in a previous show. The only I am a little bit, if there's anything I'm maybe got an eye on, it is kind of how that dynamic is going to work. Auburn job is a good job to have, but that's all with Todd Graham at Arizona State because Todd Graham knows, Gus Malzahn, and that's how Gus knows Kenny. I don't think Gus was like flipping through and being like, oh wow, yeah, that guy in Memphis, that's the guy that I want. But again, if you're familiar and guys that know your system. I mean, there's other guys that coach with Todd Graham and were at Arizona State and Memphis, but he went after Kenny. So we shall see. But I do feel optimistic. They'll pull in the right direction. They'll get this thing figured out.
And we believe in Atkins too. So yeah, it could be a nice triumvirate, a good trio.
Yeah. Charles Williams Jr. is Florida State only playing ACC games, 10 of them, and then one non-conference at Jacksonville State. You can see the schedule over on warchant.com. David Cromer, are white numbers on jerseys still a go for this year? They are.
Have you asked Norvell about that? Why don't you ask that tomorrow about the jerseys?
No.
What's he doing with the uniforms? Come on, man. That's your thing. Ira's not.
It's not my thing. I don't ask about jerseys. I don't like
the guy. You care about jerseys.
Ask it. You got to be a nice person. You can't be telling me what to do with my job.
Sorry. I said, will you? I didn't say do it.
No, I know, but there's a guy that keeps asking about it on Warchant. I don't particularly like his brand of tone with people on the boards. Got to be nice to everybody. We leave you with this. Swolno, even though we don't need to go and pull up the poll, let's just get one last look at Corey jacked up. Corey, why you hate going on long road trips with Ira?
Because he sucks. No, he doesn't. He's I don't hate it. It's that he falls asleep and the snores are out of control. It literally sounds like I'm working next to a lumber yard, or I'm driving next to a lumber yard. It's insanity. And I snore too. That's from a snore. I'm trying to get my head just right. His eating habits, like he won't just eat in the car. He has to sit and stop. It's like, man, I'm trying to get somewhere, Ira. I'm trying to get somewhere. And he hates rest areas. He thinks one of the biggest fights we ever got in was he wanted me to pull over on I-10. I think we were on I-10. Yeah, we were going to a Florida football game. He wanted me to pull over at one of the gas stations. Well, they're every like 40 miles, maybe miles. And this was before the big one that they put in Lake City. What's the name of that one? The awesome one? Golly, man, I'm losing brain cells. So I had to use the restroom, so I pull off at a rest area. And I don't want to go to a rest area. Don't come here. Rest areas are for bums and losers. And I'm like, who has this kind of opinions about rest areas? So yeah, he got really mad. Yeah, he would, because I wanted him to go get me a drink. He had to pee. That's what it was. He had to use the restroom. And I'm like, all right, well, here's a rest area. Here we go. He goes like, I don't want a rest area. I'm like, man, I don't want to get off the highway and wait 12 minutes to go find you some podunk gas station so you can go urinate in. Let's just stop here. This is what it's for. And then as he was getting out of the car, hemming and hawing and being a grump, I'm like, hey, man, can you get me a Diet Coke? And he goes, nope, and slams the door and walks off. So good times.
I'm not a big rest area guy, but I know when I went to Jacksonville with you for one of Taggart's spring tour visits in Jacksonville for the booster thing, you're like, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, stop and grab food somewhere, and you stopped at a rest area and just hit up the snack thing. What do they call those things? Vending machines.
Vending machines. Well, that wasn't my dinner. It's just something to, get the help the appetite out a little before we got whatever we got at Top Golf.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap for us. We're done. Thanks for hanging in there despite the technical difficulties.
Sorry, that's my fault. That wasn't Aslan. That was me.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is. We're all in this together. We rise and fall, or what have you. Are you working on anything for the website, Corey, that people need to check out?
I wrote a story on Keyshawn Helton.
Okay.
That has been up for a couple hours now, and about just I thought the way the players and the coaches talk about him. When you're looking for a leader and you're wondering who the leaders are going to be, that's a guy that just the way he talks. I don't know how he's not one of the bigger leaders on the team, although he might be the smallest guy on the team. Just love listening to that guy talk. And you mentioned the tweet, but I want to give a shout out now to the people listening to this and the people watching it, the people listening to this tomorrow on the podcast, and the people watching it now. We got Helton, and who else did we get today? Helton and Jordan Young.
Yeah.
So they were number 40 and 41, the players we've gotten since preseason camp started. We've gotten 41 players. We've gotten every assistant coach. We've gotten the coordinators all 3 times, and we've gotten Mike Norvell 16 times since preseason camp started. And so many times you hear the media complain about coverage, rightfully so, when it comes to college football. But I just wanted to give a shout out because it's well deserved. A guy that actually used to work at the Osceola, Derek Red, who now lives in West Virginia. He tweeted at me and said that he covers West Virginia now. He says they've gotten the head coach, and that's it. Preseason camp has been going on for 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe, and they've gotten exactly 0 players and 0 assistant coaches. Georgia hired Todd Monken back on January 17th. He spoke to the media for the first time today. It's asinine. But I love that because, of course, it's so important. College football, oh, my gosh. You can't have a distraction by having a grown man that you're paying $1 million talk to the media and thereby talk to the fans so the fans can get to know him. You wouldn't want that. So anyway, I just wanted to shout out Norvell for having that perspective on the media and that wanting the fans to get to know the players and the coaches. And I think that's important. I think you can't watch videos of Keyshawn Helton and the way people talk about him and not want to root for that guy. That helps, man. And all that helps the program. You just got to keep him off Twitter, maybe. Not Keyshawn Helton, but some of the other players, perhaps.
Well said. All right, they're back at practice on Wednesday, 10:50 in the morning. They will speak to us. Corey will be blazing up the keyboard. Maybe that's what it is. The keyboard had a little bit of a day off yesterday, just a touch.
Yeah.
Came back today, all maybe it just kind of overheated the thing.
It might need like an oil change or something. I don't know. It's too many miles on the thing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Check us out. We'll be at warchant.com tomorrow, posting all the updates as they happen. And then 7 p.m. on Wednesday, Michael Langston, myself, a recruiting chat. Ask your questions. It's going to be the same 12 kids we keep talking about all the time. Hopefully they'll commit. That would be great. He's Corey. Thanks for listening. Have a great one, everybody, and watching.